prostitute lady. She had eyes that meant a torso, and a torso even more so. Oh, Lydia, that encyclopedia. Lydia, the queen of tattoos. You could line a lot from... They usually deliver those in the rear.
He's not dead. He's just taking a cat nap.
Catnapping, eh? He could get 10 years for that in this state.
Oh, don't be crazy. He's not in this state for 10 years. Only about 10 minutes.
Where'd you pick up that baggage, anyway?
He's no baggage. He's my brother.
Well, if it was my brother, I'd give him poison.
If he were your brother, he'd take it.
Well, I don't know, but I still think we ought to hold him awake.
Sure, I'm tired of holding him asleep. Here. Hold this for me, will you?
Well, if you're not here for a burial, why are you here?
We see your ad in the newspaper, boss. We're very hungry. We need a job.
I see. Well, what kind of work experience do you boys have?
Well, we worked in a quarry once. Well, that was the pits.
Rock bottom, eh?
Then we run an elevator. But we get fired.
So they gave you the shaft.
Then at one time, we work in a lumber mill, but we couldn't cut it.
So they gave you the axe.
Then at one time, we work in a bakery.
I bet you were rolling in dough then.
Nah, we didn't make enough bread.
Well, at least you weren't fired for loafing.
Then Rusty here, he got a job as the village idiot. But he's not as dumb as he looks.
He couldn't be.
He saved his business. He saved his money and go into business for himself. He's more on the ball than you think.
Well, I'd have to agree with that. You know, you boys may just be what I need around here. Somebody to step into my shoes.
Why? What did your shoes step into?
Gentlemen, and I use the time ironically, after careless consideration, I've decided I can use you. But I'm afraid he's a little too rambunctious.
Well, boss, he'll make a good display.
Yes, a face like that could scare up a lot of visitors. He looks so natural. Uh-oh, shoppers. Here, you two boys get in this broom closet before somebody thinks that I've gotten behind in my work. Won't you step into my parlor? And in what manner may I be of assistance in this your hour of tragedy? Of course, you're quite a large woman. You might be in for 90 minutes of tragedy.
My dear Harold passed on last night. I am in need of the full range of your services.
That is, if they meet our standards.
Well, I'd love to meet your standards. You must bring them over sometime to meet my standards. Then we'll have a double standard. Who knows, maybe they'll get married and raise a family of substandards. Speaking of substandards, whose misfortune do I have the misfortune of addressing?
I am Mrs. Martha Bourneworthy, and this is my brother-in-law, Baxter, Harold's brother.
I'm sorry we have to meet under such circumstances.
I'm sorry we have to meet under any circumstances. What a hideous profession. But I suppose you enjoy dealing with death.
It's a living. And what do you do to keep yourself nearly alive?
I'm an accountant.
Well, then how do you account for yourself?
Gentlemen, please. Let us not quarrel on such a somber occasion. Can't you just bury the hatchet?
I'd rather bury him. But I'm game. Well, I'd give you a hand, but it would cost you an arm and a leg. Speaking of an arm and a leg, let's discuss my fee.
Well, if your work is good, I'll give you $1,000.
Well, if your check is good, I'll take it.
Of course it's good. My late husband was the wealthiest man in town. The born-worthy millions are known throughout the world.
Oh, you're that Mrs. Bornworthy. Well, you could strike me dumb.
Hey, boss, so we hear you call us.
Oh, my.
He'd have shake your hand, but he'd have rather pull your leg.
I think the shoe's on the other hand.
Who are these men?
This is my new janitor. And this is his mom.
He looks a little pale. He needs something to eat.
Pay no attention to him. He's recently suffered a terrible loss.
Oh, the poor man.
Yes, he lost his mind. And there's no use looking for it in this crowd. Say, why don't you two boys go back outside and feed the vultures?
Is there anything to eat out there?
Just the vultures. But with bait like that, you ought to catch a feast.
How do you catch them?
Well, you say the secret way. The bird will bring you down $100. You split it between you, go to the diner and get yourself something to eat. The weight is a household weight. Something you see around the house every day. Tell him Groucho sent you. Now, where were we before we were so crudely interrupted?
Here now.
Yes, I know we're here now. And I know where I wish some of us were now. And there goes double for you. Ah, yes, we were discussing the disposition of your dear departed husband. But we're just running rings around each other, so why don't I give you a circle? Well, no, we're just running circles around each other, so why don't I give you a ring?
Well, I suppose you could come by the residence tomorrow afternoon before the reading of the will.
Yes, that'll give us a chance to discuss the flowers without the pansy. And I'll bring the big truck around for the body.
The hearse?
No, the lunch wagon. Allow me to show you out. And allow me to show you up.
I didn't come here to be insulted.
I don't see how you could have avoided it.
Well, good day to you, sir.
Not so far. But it's getting better. Woohoo! This is the biggest order to come along in months. I might even have to cancel that wait for Mr. Finnegan. This is my lucky day. A rich widow in my pocket, and all the help I need to run the parlor. That is, if those wolf rats will nibble at my bait. So they're liable to change their minds if they can find them. I better cage them before they kill off all my business. What's with him?
He's got amnesia and he's trying to forget it.
You don't suppose we could find it and forget him, do you?
Forget it.
Forget what?
I don't remember.
Well, all I know is I think you boys are going to drive me to an early grave.
Why don't you find one that stays open late?
Say, did your parents have any children that lived?
Just my cousin.
Well, I suppose that if you two boys are going to be working for me, that we should be properly introduced. So what's your name?
My name She's a Verminelli.
Verminelli, eh? That's apropos.
Apropos so.
And this is your brother. What do you call it?
I call him Rusty. But his name is something else.
Something else, eh? Sounds like a well-lined name.
Well, they don't call him something for nothing.
What do you feed him?
Nuts.
It wasn't that personal a question.
No, I mean he like a nuts.
Well, you are what you eat.
He like vegetables, too.
I rest my case.
Mostly, he like the greens.
Which accounts for his complexion. You know, I think I'll keep him and sell the lawnmower.
Oh, no, he know what do it. He read something once that'll warn him against it.
Dare I ask what it was he read?
Keep off of the grass. He may be a demon of duff, but he knows sign language.
Well, that's a good sign. That's an even better sign. What else have you got in there? Why don't you take that advice and go jump in the lake? Well, ask a fool a question.
And you will get a fool by the answer.
What is that, a trench coat or a department store? Now, that's what I call sinus trouble. Isn't it about time you signed off? Oh, an old land sign.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
I think you boys have rocks in your heads.
That's the headstones. Say, boss, we're still hungry.
Well, why don't I show you the grounds, and then we'll have some coffee.
Hey, you can no fool me. I know you got a drink of the coffee before you could see the grounds.
Step right this way. You do know how to walk, don't you?
Sure, I've been doing it half my life.
This is the cemetery. It covers over 100 acres.
That's a lot of ground.
Yes. I started at a lot of cemetery because I wanted a vast undertaking. Just one more funeral this month and I'll have my quota. And you can quota me on that.
I wouldn't have given you 2 bits for that quarter.
I suppose you can only put your 1 cent's worth in because you're a half-wit.
Yeah, I half-wit to spare.
Now over here is Brigadier, and over there is Brightacre.
Where's the Wiseacre?
You're standing on it. Now over here is Cool Point, and over here is Grease Point.
Where's the Hot Point?
That's a pointed question. There is no hot point. We have a cool breeze.
Frigid air, but only in a March, April, and a Maytag, eh, boss?
Well, you have a point, but your hat hides it. If I ever open up a head point, I'll appoint you head. But at any rate, over here is Lookout Point, and over there is Lighthouse Point.
Where you keep the lighthouse?
That's beside the point.
Oh, over there.
No. I mean that bears no relevance to the topic.
Hey, what are you, crazy? I got a plenty of relatives in the tropics. Rusty, show him the picture. That's my family tree.
Looks more like a palm tree to me.
He must have losed the pitch. He got to take care of being so clumsy.
You know, a man could learn to hate you. I dated a girl from the Virgin Islands once.
Jamaica?
No, I told you where she was from. And why I only dated her once. But let's get down to business. And business is dying.
That's too bad.
No. When business is dying, I make a killing.
Oh, you make her your own clients, eh, boss?
No. I see that if you're going to be working with me, I'm going to have to teach you something about the funeral business.
Oh, sure. We want to learn. And we got a third-grade education.
Sounds more like they got a third-rate education. Look, in this business, we deal with people who are bereaved. You do know what bereaved is, don't you?
I believe so.
No, you're wrong. I mean distraught.
Distraught crossed my mind.
Well, if you can locate your mind again, try this one. We never say the person died. We say they expired.
Oh, that's inspired.
No, that's expired.
Inspire, expire. If he's dead, he no breathe at all.
You know, you take my breath away. And I'd like to take your breath away, at least the garlic. Furthermore, we never say that, we never use the word bury.
Oh, no, we never say that.
We say inter.
So a grave robber opens a coffin, he gets caught for breaking in and interring, eh, boss?
No, that's disinterring. And disinteresting as well. And furthermore, we don't call it a coffin. We call it a beer.
That's so good. That's so good. That's what Abe Lincoln got, huh? A shot and a beer? Little people, they get a short beer. Soldiers, they get a draft beer, huh?
You lost your head. What are you trying to do, get me drunk? Now, before we lay the deceased in the box, we dress him in a special suit called a shroud. You do hear me, don't you?
Shroud in a clear.
I saw you from across the shrouded room, and I had to kill you. But furthermore, what makes a shroud different is it has no pockets.
Hey, what are you, crazy? Where you put your hands?
Well, you probably put them in my pockets.
Okay, it's got no pockets, but it's got seams?
So it seems.
Sewn seams?
I've seen sewn seams.
I see.
So, not everybody is buried, you know. No, some people are laid to rest above the ground. In a little place like this. Now that's your fault.
That's no my fault.
No. I'm not blaming you for anything, except living.
That's no my fault, too.
You know, you're an insult to immigration.
Hey, you got it all wrong. Immigration is the sincerest form of flattery.
You know, you certainly have a way with words. And I wish they'd have a way with you.
But to continue, if the deceased doesn't want to be buried at all, we could cremate him. Over there, in the crematorium. You do know what a crematorium is, don't you?
No, I know cream of wheat. I don't know crematorium. But to continue, if the deceased doesn't want to be buried at all, he can be cremated over there in the crematorium. You do know what a crematorium is, don't you?
No, I know a cream of wheat, but no crematorium.
Well, you're close, but one you cook in a furnace.
So you put the departed in a furnace, eh, boss? That must be a furnace department, eh?
Actually, we don't call it a furnace. We call it a retort. What, you have no retort?
Nah, too hot to handle.
At any rate, after we cremate them, we can take the ashes and scatter them, or we can earn the ash.
That's no good, that's no good. We want to earn the cash.
No, you're wrong. I mean, we take the ashes and put them in a little jar.
That's a mason. You mean a little jar holds all those ashes?
Well, a jar can't, but an ash can. I'll teach you to run the furnace so you can make an ash of yourself. Anyway, we take the ashes and we can scatter them over the ocean.
So they can wave goodbye?
Or we can take the ash and scatter them over the forest.
Well, the relatives opine.
I give up. Obviously, this whole thing's above your heads. No, that's a metaphor.
What's the matter for you?
Ah, yes, I think I have just the job for men with your mental prowess. Yes, something where you can really break new ground. Something you can really dig into. Yes, I'm making you landfill displacement engineers.
What's that?
Grave diggers.
Grave diggers. Woo.
Well, I had to dig up some help, and certainly looks like somebody's dug you up. It's a very important job, digging plots.
Yes, it's a grave responsibility.
Why don't you choose a shovel?
Nah, I'd rather take my pick. Say, boss, we don't talk about what you're gonna pay us.
Well, to start with, I'll give you room and board.
We're aboard already. But we'll take the room.
Well, don't take it far.
Not half as far as we're gonna take you.
Oh, no. I want more out of this establishment than a bad name when you two leave. Okay, I'll pay you $1 a day to start.
What do you pay us to finish?
I said I'll pay you $1 a day.
That's a dirt cheap. A whole dollar?
Okay, I'll pay you $1 a hole. But that's my best offer.
Oh, no, we know a dig a hole. We dig a half each, but we know a dig a hole. It's against the union rules.
Oh, so you're in the union.
I'm in a very strong union.
And so is your confederate, I suppose. Well, let's just try to be civil about this. Just what is it you want?
First of all, we get a 15-minute break every 10 minutes.
When do you work?
That's overtime.
Well, it looks like you got me dead to rights.
That's not my last rights either.
I'm looking forward to your last rights. So your union has some other rules?
We must at all times keep a 1 foot in the grave.
Well, that shouldn't be too difficult.
Nah, we're just a couple of working stiffs.
So what union is it you belong to, anyway?
Western Union. Here's our papers.
I get the message. You know, you're a real card. And I wish you'd get lost in this shuffle.
Hey, we no lose the shovels.
I wouldn't play the spades if I were you. I knew these morons weren't playing with a full deck. Well, this is either the Born-Worthy Mansion or the Taj Mahal. Now remember what I told you. Let me do the talking.
I'd rather let him do the talking.
See, I told you he was at death's door. Yeah.
Do you believe in the hereafter?
Why, yes.
Well, then you know what we're hereafter.
The servant's door is in the rear.
Well, then what are you doing up here? Ah, nice tomb you have here. Speaking of which, we're here to pick up the mortal remains of Harold T. Bornworthy. Where do you have the old boy anyway?
Mr. Bornworthy is in the drawing room.
Oh yeah, I bet all he's drawing now are flies. Why don't you bring him into the living room? Not that it'll do any good. At any rate, why don't you show the nearly departed to the dearly departed? Martha and I have some business to attend to.
Monkey business.
This way, gentlemen.
Hey, Rusty, I'm hungry. You still hungry, too? You're so hungry you could eat a house. This is a one big house, too, eh? Better they got a one big kitchen. They never miss a little food. That's a good, that's a good. You look for the post-toasties, I'll look for the post-mortem.
Oh, Mr. Barrymore, you startled me. Jeeves usually announces all my guests.
Jeeves, eh? Is that ape in the monkey suit downstairs?
Jeeves is outstanding in his field.
He should be outstanding in the street. Anyway, Jeeves had his hands full, and his pockets empty, unless I miss my bet. But let's not talk about other men in your bedroom. Here, this is our time together.
Oh, Rose is my favorite.
I would have brought tulips if I could have kissed yours.
Mr. Barrymore, you are incorrigible.
Well, then don't encourage me. Actually, I came to discuss the arrangements.
Oh, What sort of things must we discuss?
Oh, there are 1,001 decisions that need to be made. Open or closed casket, burial or cremation, filter tip or menthol. Take the flowers. No, I took those. What should we dress him in? Has the old sport got any old sport clothes?
My Harold must have only the best. He was a very respected businessman.
Well, then why not a checkered coat to match his career?
If you were to insult him in that way, I'd have to sue you.
Well, then we'll dress him in a lawsuit. No, he wouldn't be caught dead in that. When's his birthday? We'll dress him in his birthday suit. By the way, what size shoe did he wear?
Size 9.
Oh, same size as I wear. All the easier to step into his shoes. But right now, I gotta worry about filling his shoes. Well, if you think he's gone with the angels, why don't we go with the wingtips? Look, let's stop talking about clothes for a minute and discuss the funeral arrangements. Now, for a headstone, I think I can save you money by going with one of those new synthetics. It's textured plastic, but everybody takes it for granted.
I don't know.
Okay, well then how about the burial location? We could bury him here, by the reservoir.
Oh, I'm not sure he'd be happy there.
No, not by a damn sight. Well then how about something in a foothill? A 6-foot hill.
I'm not sure I like the plot.
Well, you better get used to it. The play's half over by now. Look, this whole thing is depressing you. Why don't we talk about you and depress me? Just how did your husband die, anyway?
He died of a stroke.
Now, what a stroke of luck it was for me. Martha, when I first saw you, I heard bells, and I knew I was in love. Or else the phone was ringing. Either way, it was for you.
But people would call me a cradle robber.
And they'd call me a grave robber.
This day was meant for mourning.
And this night was meant for evening. No, that's not right. This night was meant for love.
But, Mr. Barrymore, my husband's body is still warm.
Well, so is mine, so take your pick.
My Harold is not actually deceased, you know.
What?
He now exists on another plane.
Yes, but he left his luggage at this airport. At the terminal.
I'm sure that someday I'll hear from Harold from the other side.
Yes, and I'm sure it'll be his best side.
Mr. Barrymore, do you believe in reincarnation?
Well, I had an uncle who went to Las Vegas once and came back as a pauper. Say, why don't we marry and go round together?
Oh, Mr. Barrymore, you are a rogue. Oh, my. Oh, dear.
Yes, a Persian road. And you floored me. Martha, can't you see what I'm trying to tell you? I love you. I love all of you. And believe me, that's a lot of love. Ah, love, sweet love, cherubic Cupid, sharpens his arrows, and you get stuck with me.
It's good to see you again, Rita. Come to the kitchen, let's have a little snack.
How can you have any appetite at all when your whole future rests inside that one little piece of paper?
What?
It's amazing you have any appetite at all when your whole future rests inside that one little piece of paper.
Oh, you mean the will, Rita? I have nothing to worry about.
What are you talking about? You got stiffed once before, remember? When your parents cut you out of their will and left everything to Brother Harold?
That's right, they called me the grasshopper and in the end. But that's not going to happen again.
But Harold always thought of you as a burden, too. What's to prevent him from leaving it all to the old bag?
I'm sure he did just that.
Then why aren't you worried?
Rita, old girl, I've taken steps to ensure that history does not repeat itself.
And if you were to say that in plain English, it would mean what?
This, my dear?
Hey, that's your brother's will.
Not yet, but it will be.
Quit talking in riddles, Bax. What kind of scheme are you cooking up?
Well, with a little sleight of hand, when the lawyer shows up, it won't matter what's in my brother's will. All that will matter is what's in here. Out with the old and in with the new.
And we can guess what that is. Every penny of those millions right in your pocket.
Right on the money. And to add the ultimate insult, I intend to place the real will inside my brother's coffin right after the funeral. A little reading matter will while away the time on his long sleep.
You'd do that to the man who paid your way through college?
Sure, he never gave me enough allowance to buy any good grades.
How are you going to prevent the old battle axe from contesting the will?
Ah, I have that figured out as well. Now, you know what a sucker the old bat is for spiritualism. Now, supposing dear departed Harold were to assure her of the authenticity of the will in person?
I'm way ahead of you, Bax. So that's why you wanted me to bring along the Madame Olga setup.
That's right. Madame Olga, the famous trance medium. Knows all, sees all.
Cons all.
Now you see why I had to sneak you in the back way. I didn't want anybody to catch you here before I could get Martha to think that calling you was her idea.
And in the meantime, I'll be setting up the fake seance.
In the conservatory, we'll hold a seance right after dinner and the reading of the will. Speaking of which, the lawyer should be here any minute now, and I'll need your help for a second when he gets here.
Right.
Let's go right now. Now, as soon as the lawyer gets here, you create a diversion that drives attention and I'll pull a switch.
The will could be in any one of those cases. Now what are you going to do?
You just create the diversion on cue and get to the conservatory. I'll handle the rest. Ah, gentlemen, so good to see you. And so glad you could come in such great number, too. I'm Baxter Bornworthy. Please, Allow me to give you a tour of the... Oh, how clumsy of me. Forgive me, please. Allow me. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Is there any way of telling which case belongs to whom?
Why, yes. We'll check the contents.
Mine has the will.
Excellent. Please use this table. Good help is so hard to find these days.
Pardon me, sir, but the relatives are all gathered in the library.
Excellent, Jeeves. Inform Mrs. Bornworthy at once. And clean up that mess in the hallway, please. Gentlemen, won't you follow me?
Well, then it's settled then. We'll marry in the spring and honeymoon in Niagara Falls. Or we'll marry in the fall and honeymoon at Niagara Springs. Ah, yes. Spring in the air and fall on the ground.
Pardon me, madame.
What is the meaning of this intrusion? Can't you see we want a bill and coup? It'll be quite a coup when I give her my bill.
The relatives are gathered in the library, madame, for the reading of the will.
Oh, yes. Oh, Julius, will you accompany me?
Sure, what do you want to say?
No, I mean accompany to the library.
Oh, I get it. It's checkout time. Well, sure, we can face the music even though it is downbeat. But don't just stand there. Conduct this to the little band of people.
So, you're here today.
Yes, and you'll be gone tomorrow.
Come, Martha, I'll escort you to your seat.
And I'll court her to the altar.
What? You two plan to marry? Why, Martha, I'm shocked.
Julius, defend my honor.
Well, I'll stand up against him and defend you. But I'd rather stand up against you and attack you.
Perhaps we should meet on the field of honor.
What do you got, a dual personality?
At least I don't hide behind a woman's skirt.
Well, I'd give her the slip, but she's stalking me. Anyway, don't skirt the issue, address it. I wouldn't hide either if I came with a band of thugs.
I beg.
Pardon,
We're
sir.
lawyers.
That's just what I said. What are you, a legal brief? Where'd you pick up these three stooges? A rummage sale? You know, you three could be a barbershop trio if you know what a barbershop was.
Are you quite ready?
Whenever Tom, Dick, and Harry are out.
Thank you, Jeeves.
Are these your relatives, or is the circus in town? The suspense is killing me.
No, all men by...
Know all men by these presents
Well, it's about time we got to the present.
That I, Harold T. Bornworthy,
Being of sound mind and body,
That's debatable.
do hereby make my last will and testament here.
Here, here.
I first direct my main beneficiary to pay for all funeral expenses.
Oh, this is where I came in.
No, Julius.
Well, all right. I'll stick around for another 20 or 30 years. With time off for good behavior.
I hereby divide my estate in the following manner.
To my cousin Mortimer,
I bequeath the sum of
$1.
Big spender.
to my cousin Marion,
I bequeath the sum of
$1.
He didn't have 60 million cousins, did he?
to my cousin Bartholomew,
I bequeath the sum of
$1.
I think I see a pattern forming here.
to my cousin Anastasia,
Hey, Elizabeth, where's the food? There's enough food out here. This is the garden. Go back inside and find your food. You know finding the food. What do you find? You dig in a grave? You dig up some dirt. About who? How come you count? What's of this count? What are you, accountant? You dig up some dirt about that accountant, Mr. Thornworthy? What are you gonna do? Dig me to an early grave? I get it. You uncover a plot. Hey, what's the matter for you? You act like a monkey. Hey, what are you, crazy? Lower your arms. Somebody might hear you. Oh, I get it. You're a big monkey. You're king of the monkeys. You must be King Kong. King Kong got something in his hand. What's he got? He got a snake? He got a king of snake. He got a woman. Must be Fay-Ray. Fay-Ray, 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 Fay? Fay. That's a quill. Fay quill, Fay quill. He'd make a fake a will. There's some more, eh? That's the big, that's the too big. That's the too small. That's the too medium. No two, eh? Just a medium? What kind of medium? Medium rare, what kind of medium? Oh, that kind of medium. Hey, I get it a pitch. Fake a will, fake a medium. He gonna tell that dingy Mrs. Born wealthy she'd talk to her husband. And he say that is a true will. She must have been Mrs. Born yesterday, eh? Come on, are we gonna give that medium a message?
and to my cousin Albert,
I bequeath the sum of
$1.
Yep.
to my cousin Delwood,
I bequeath the sum of
$1.
Uh-huh.
to my cousin Annabelle,
I bequeath the sum of
$1.
Yep.
and in conclusion, I bequeath
the remainder of my estate
Here comes the good part.
To my brother, Baxter Thornworthy.
What?
Oh, no.
This is an outrage. Give me that. This must be some kind of a mistake. Where's Martha in here?
It appears Mrs. Bornworthy
Wasn't mentioned.
In the bequeathment.
Here, let me see that.
Oh, no. I'm sure you have a hand in this, and you're not getting a hand on it.
Well, Martha, this is such a shock. I don't know what to say.
It took them all week to practice that spontaneous expression.
Oh, dear, whatever will I do?
I say there must be some mistake.
There is no mistake.
The will is legitimate.
And must be enforced.
How could Harold do this to you?
Oh, If only there was some way we could ask him.
Why, that's it. I'll call Madame Olga, your spiritual advisor. We can hold a seance after dinner and ask Harold personally. I'll call her right away. In the meantime, why don't you all go to the room next door where I've arranged for a small supper? I'll only be a moment. Go ahead and start without me.
We'd rather finish with you.
How's tricks, babe?
Just setting them up now.
Good, good. I only have a couple of minutes. Why don't you go ahead and give me a quick run-through so I know what to expect?
Nothing I haven't done 100 times before. I'll just start with a little table tapping to show. The spirits are listening. Then I'll flip this little switch under the table to start the Victrola. That's when we hear Old Man Barnworthy, and he delivers your message.
You sure she'll buy it?
Well, if that won't do, we've got the grand finale, the pièce de résistance.
Well, don't keep me in suspense.
The old boy himself pops in for a little visit.
Well, how do you manage that?
Nothing more than a luminous balloon with his face on it inside my crystal ball.
Beautiful. Now, that doesn't clinch it nothing, Will. Well, I gotta get back before they get suspicious. And you better get out of here, too, and be ready to make your entrance after dinner. Okay.
You hear all that, partner? Right, let's go to work.
I'm so glad all you high rollers could stay to mooch a meal.
It looks like a seafood dinner.
Yes, I see food everywhere. I knew from the start there was something fishy going on around here. It ought to be chicken. I'm in a foul mood. Maybe we ought to order a T-bone for tomorrow. That way we will have a steak in the future, which is more than I can say we have now.
Yes, I suppose we shall be forced to live off your wages.
Live off my wages? My clients couldn't live off my wages. Poor for only 5 minutes and you're already trying to welch off me. Martha, I think it's time we disengaged.
Oh, Julius, I love you.
Ha! If I had a nickel for every time I've heard that, I'd be a poor man today. What, more fish? Don't you have anything else?
Oh, no, sir. We've got everything from soup to nuts.
I thought the nuts were still working outside. Say, could you loan me a fin until payday?
She's coming.
No wonder it's seafood. We're having a crab for dinner.
And for dessert, sour grapes.
Well, I'd engage you in a battle of wits. But I won't fight with a man who's only half armed. And besides, I'm already engaged. Say, if Martha's broke, who's going to pay for this affair?
I will, of course.
And who's going to pay for this affair? Well, you won't have to worry about the dinner bill. Everybody lost their appetite as soon as you showed up. Oh, no, thanks. I stopped drooling at the age of 16.
It's for the lobster.
What, a big bib like this for a little lobster like that? How does he wear it?
No, it's a lobster bib. One always wears one before eating shellfish.
Why don't you make like a shellfish and clam up? Yes. Nothing after a big meal like a good Havana. Havana, good time. Wish you weren't here. What's this? Sponge cake? I think I'd rather eat the sponges.
I believe it's pound cake.
I don't think they pounded enough. I thought that at a dinner like this, they'd have angel's food cake. But coming from him, I'd expect half-baked Alaska. I'm a pretty good judge of character.
I didn't know my character was on trial here.
Yes, for character assassination.
Announcing Madame Olga.
What kind of reception do you think she gets that way?
I sense a great misfortune in this house.
You mean a great misfortune?
Welcome, Madame Olga. Please make yourself comfortable while I address a few words to our guests.
I wish somebody would steal your notes and leave you speechless.
May I have your attention, please?
Well, you may as well. You've already taken our inheritance. I'm so poor I can't pay attention.
I'll only take a moment.
Now, there he goes again. Now he's stealing our time.
My friends.
Well, you're in the wrong place for that.
Much as I'd like to remain with you here now,
We'd like your remains with us, too.
I'm afraid Martha and I must now depart,
Dearly departed.
as we have a date with the spirits.
Oh, I'll drink to that. A toast to Martha Bourneworthy and her husband, the naked and the dead.
Gesundheit.
Well, that's true. Your reputation. If the one word I could use, it is moral. And I use the term loosely.
Shall we retire to the conservatory for some privacy?
Or for some piracy.
Julius, will you sit with me during a seance?
Aren't you a bit old to need a sitter?
I'm sure Harold would love to meet you.
Well, I'm not going to hold my breath. But I suppose if I held it long enough, I would meet him.
Shall we, please?
I usually get my spirits from a bottle.
Hey, boss, are we late?
Ah, my late assistants. Now, come on in, boys. This ought to lift your spirits.
Hey, boss, are you going to introduce us?
No, I could think of a lot of better ways to insult her. On second thought, no, I can't.
This is Madame Olga, the famous trance medium.
Entranced.
What do they pay you, 10 cents a trance?
Oh, and where did you find this creature?
Partner. Never strike a happy medium.
Let us take our seats.
You know, if you were a midget, you could be a small medium at large.
Hey, lady, somebody has stole your fish.
Oh, so that's where dinner came from.
Jeeves, put the lights out.
And then put yourself up.
Now, we must all join hands while I meditate into the astral plane.
Hey, boss, what's she gonna do?
Well, she's gonna talk to the spirits, so she's gonna use telepathy.
Why she no use a telephone?
I don't know. Why don't you call her on it?
Nah, I can always a telephone.
Why don't you make like your brother and let your fingers do the talking?
Hey, boss, how do we know she's any good?
Well, I'd have her read your mind, but I don't think she has time for a scavenger hunt.
There must be complete silence. Yes, I feel I have made contact with the spirit world. Now, so you may all join me. Empty your minds. Empty your minds.
That shouldn't be too difficult for most of you.
Silence. The humble seekers, all great spirits, desire a secret message from beyond the grave.
Yes, a cryptogram.
Spirits, if you can hear us, tap upon the table. One tap for yes, two taps for no.
Long distance calling.
Spirits, please. You must be more precise.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Harry.
Harry who?
Harry Houdini.
Silence, please. I feel I have made contact. Come in, Harold Barnbury.
Yes, we're dying to meet you. Or vice versa.
Spirits, speak.
The spirits must have gas.
You have revealed your presence. Now let us hear your voice.
This ought to be good. I think you got your wires crossed at the celestial switchboard.
I don't know. He sings like an angel.
Mr. Barnbury, do you have a message for your wife, Martha?
He makes enough noise to raise the dead.
Mr. Barnbury, I can sense your presence. Appear before us.
I didn't think this scene had a ghost of a chance.
Hey, boss, so what's the matter?
I'm having trouble with this coughing.
Why don't you give up those cigars? That'll stop your coughing.
Ah, nothing like a good cigar.
Certainly isn't. You know, you smoke so much. You must come from that town in Denmark.
What town is that, he asked with trepidation.
Copenhagen.
Why don't you take a coffin break?
Hey, what do you know? A funeral for a chicken. Chicken in a casket.
I didn't even know she was sick. Here, give me that.
I don't know about this work, boss. Me and Rusty, we maybe go on strike.
Well, close cover before striking, okay? Speaking of perfect matches, where's that brother of yours?
He He's out to lunch.
True words were never spoken.
Well, maybe he'd take a nap. All the time, he's a sleepy.
I don't know why you call him sleepy. He looks dopey to me.
Snow what?
Oh, Dr. Einstein. So glad you could make it.
Einstein, get it? He loves to mug.
I suppose that's for your funeral beer. Now listen, you mugs. The mourners will be scuffing our welcome mat any minute now. Is there anything we've forgotten?
I think we should lower the flag.
That's a half-mast idea if I ever heard it.
Hey, boss, that reminds me of something very important.
Beverly, you've got a mind like a steel sieve.
That a Bornworthy? He's a dirty Baxter.
I couldn't have pronounced it better myself.
No, boss, you got a big bad plan. Come here, listen.
So, that crook is going to swindle Martha out of the money I was going to swindle her out of. If old man Bornworthy were alive, he'd be spinning in his grave. If he were buried. Boys, we got to get that will back.
We will.
But the question is how?
Well, we could ask him, but he don't give it to us.
No, where there's a will, there's a won't.
Hey, boss, that reminds me. Rusty, he tell me that a Bornworthy, he hate his brother. He hate him a lot. Oh, baby, he hate him like crazy. He hate him a lot of too much.
Does this bus have a stop, or are you just taking me for a ride?
Okay. He hate him that much. He hate him so much. He gonna put the real will in the coffin, they carry him off it.
He is, eh? Say, fellas, that gives me a swell idea. Gather around. Now, this is what I want you to do. You get that?
I got everything, except the beginning and the middle. Rusty here, he know get the end.
Okay, we'll try it from a different way.
I don't think so, but it's your funeral.
You say that so cheerfully. Now, look, we got a lot of work to do. And don't try to cheat me out of an honest day's work.
I'd have cheated myself if I thought I wasn't watching.
And you either. All right, either. Imagine, a man with a mouth like mine being corrected by a mute. Okay, you mother. Get out of here. Come on. Get out of here. Oh, Martha, so glad you could make it.
Julius, do you have a powder room here?
Yes, right over there. But don't go taking a powder on me now, babe. Well, you're awfully quiet. Has the catatonic got your tongue? Or is it just the gin tonic? I give you a penny for your thoughts, but I'd rather give you pennies for your eyes. Speaking of pennies, you do have my check, don't you?
Of course. Your final payment.
My final reward, eh? Well, good. I thought you were going to stiff me for the stiff.
Why should I? I'm a rich man now.
Don't count your blessings before they hatch.
Yes, when I receive my inheritance, I'll have enough money to buy this place and tear it down.
You can't tear this place down. It's an institution, which is where you belong.
Yes, I think I will buy this place and tear it down, or turn it into a dance hall.
Speak easy when you say that. Or we'll show up and dance on your graves.
Where is my dear Harold?
He's with the eternal rest of your relatives. Right through those pearly gates. Why don't you grab a chair in a program before all the good spots are taken and I have to give you something in the bleachers? Dr. Jekyll, have you taken care of Mr. Formaldehyde?
You bet, boss. Everything, she's a set.
Good, the whole funeral party is waiting.
Yeah, funeral party, eh? The morgue, the merrier?
Well, you can't spell funeral without F-U-N. Well, it's about time I met the living dead. Get going. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today. No, that comes later. My dear friends, as I look out over this audience, I'm not sure we're burying the right guy. We are here to pay our last respects to Harold Bourneworthy, late loving brother of Baxter Bourneworthy. Late loving husband of Martha Bourneworthy. And better late than never. Harold Bourneworthy was a prince among men. Evidently, he was the Prince of Wales. Harold Bourneworthy was a man who did everything in a big way. Take his wife.
Please.
I intend to. All right, then. Take his life.
No, you can't take it with you.
How was he taking you with him? Harold Bourneworthy was a captain of industry, a major investor, and a general nuisance. He was a man of vision, but only with his glasses on. He used to get drunk, make a spectacle of himself. Then he was a man of double vision. Harold Bourneworthy was a man who was always breaking new ground. And now we're carrying on the tradition and breaking new ground for him. Yes, dear friends, Harold Bourneworthy is about to embark on that mythical journey to the underworld. And it won't be the first time he's dealt with the underworld. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, one if by land, two if by sea. The eternal rest with the mortal remains. Now, if you'd like to kiss the bride.
Friends. I know this is highly irregular, but if you could please leave the room before reviewing the body, I'd like to take this last chance to say one last goodbye to my dear departed brother. Please, I'll only be a moment, please. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. I'll let you know. Thank you. Only be a moment. So, Harold, my boy, we see who emerges the victor. Well, I gotta hand it to you, brother. All those millions you hoarded to yourself with never a thought for the comfort of your little brother. Well, I've managed to outwit you one final time. And now it is I who will live in luxury. All those years of deprivation. And now it is I who'll have all the fun spending it. And so it's goodbye to the ant, while the grasshopper prevails in the end. And just so you know that I am the victor here, so you don't forget, here's a little reminder. Hey, give me that. What are you doing? Give me that. What are you doing?
Hold it right there, I'll drill you full of words. Officer, arrest that man. He conspired to steal the fortune of this senile old widow. You are a poor senile old widow, aren't you?
Oh, my, I have no idea what's going on.
I rest my case.
I demand to see a lawyer.
We'd be happy to represent you.
Hey, Baxter, listen to this. To my loving blah, blah, blah wife, I bequeath 1/2 of my entire estate. And to my ne'er-do-well brother Baxter, I do here bequeath the other half of my entire estate on the single provision that he stay out of trouble for 1 full year. Should he fail to do this, the whole of my estate will revert back to my blah, blah, blah wife. Martha, you inherit everything, including me. Walking south with the widow.